everyone, welcome to another episode of Behind the Screen. The camera is very zoomed out today because that's what we need to do for the actual stream that we have going on Monday nights, last night, of course, for our Tides of Wildemount campaign. And so I don't want to mess it up because it was kind of perfect. So I'm just going to kind of leave it where it is right now, if that's okay. But I'm a little smaller today, which I think is all right. I guess I could zoom in a little bit. I don't know. I think it's okay. How's everybody doing? Hope you're all well. I hope you're keeping well. It was a crazy session last night. Want to thank everyone for joining us. It was another record night for viewership. I'm sure you guys have a ton of questions, but this is Behind the Screen, your spoilerific look behind my DM screen. I will answer questions about decisions I made during last night's episode, as well as that campaign. And if you guys even have questions about our Into the Mist campaign, I can answer those as well as we go through for the next hour or so. So hopefully you guys have all got your questions ready. I don't know if there's any yet in the chat, but I'm going to scroll back and start to look. And tons of viewers today, guys. This is great. Very, very cool. Questions. Again, if you're going to ask a question tonight, write question in big caps and then the question that you have, and then we will go from there. Let's see here. Gary Diamond says, hey gang, I genuinely cried when Joel Punkrock sang Blackbird last night. Pretty special. I actually didn't hear it. I was setting up the new table setup instead, and so I didn't have the opportunity to hear it live, but I heard it afterwards, and it was incredible. Joel is a very, very gifted recording artist, actually, which some of you may not know. Let me just scroll through. If I don't answer a question or if I've gone past your question, then please ask it again if some time has passed and you can tell that I haven't gotten to it, or if I've answered questions that follow it. Let's see. I'm not seeing any questions. Yeah, there we go. Coward Duck, how's it going? Says, have you considered a digital adventure box for those running online games, including digital assets for something like Roll20? Very great idea. Have not considered it, actually. That isn't something that we've thought about, but is something that we will think about now. So thank you, Coward Duck. That is a great idea. Very, very cool. Gary Diamonds asks again, will Mercer be back as Strahd? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe he'll be back for Tides of Wildemount at some point. Not quite sure yet. We'll have we have some guests lined up for the next kind of couple months, I guess. But we will see what we will see. We're right now kind of negotiating what's going to happen for the finale of Tides of Wildemount and who's going to appear and stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun and pretty awesome. So super pumped for that. That's going to be great. As a DM, how much do you tend to personalize your campaign to the styles of your players? RP versus combat rules versus Melanie. That's good. Oh, Prometheus Bound asks. Yeah, so quite a bit, actually. I mean, the same kind of events happen, I guess. So the same story would unroll or unravel. But I definitely take their lead. So if they're wanting to kind of interact a lot more, have conversations, especially meaningful conversations, I think, that bring out roleplay and stuff, then we absolutely, I absolutely play to their strengths and their desires. I think it's important that you do that and just allow them to shine. But I wouldn't cater necessarily the adventure. What I do cater the adventure to actually is the background, their backgrounds, their stories, to make sure that their characters are driven to do the things that I've kind of set them potentially out to do and put in their way. So that's something I definitely, absolutely cater the adventure to, because I think that's important. This Zoom level is bothering me a little bit because I am alone. I don't have a producer to fix it. So I'm going to fix it real quick. and then you guys can continue chatting. All I'm going to do is do this. Here we go. Oh, there, that should be better. There we go. Sorry, guys, about that. That should be, oh yeah, nice, up close and personal. Way better. Way better. I'm still a little low, but that's okay. We will deal with that. That is better. That was a good question. How do you like Zoom? Tim, it is the reason we use it. I know there's a lot of issues that people are suggesting, including in this chat. I just saw stuff about kind of security and so on. But the reason I like it is because it is very stable. And it is, not prone to breaking down like other platforms we've tried. And so we're sticking with Zoom just because it's the stable solution. And typically, and actually, frankly, right now, it's a temporary solution because we do plan to get back to the table together as soon as we possibly can. So Zoom just works for now. And that's just going to be our preferred sort of platform because of its stability as it stands right now. Also, sorry, folks, forgot to say that this is an interactive thing with Q&A and so on, but if you do follow us, this little potion bottle over here will blink purple once, and if you subscribe, it'll blink twice. If you spend bits, it'll blink 4 times. So it should be working today. I think I just turned it on, so you guys can absolutely play with that and have some fun. Instead of asking Snow for investigation checks, can you please ask him for a CAT scan? That's good. Coward Duck, very nice. Very good. I like it. Pete says, question, will Nora and Matt be back, and is Christina going to be a regular from now on? Yes, Christina is a regular from now on. She is a cast member. Nora will be back, and Matt, I'm sure, will be back at some point too. One sec. Okay. Have you all considered other things besides Zoom? There are lots of articles about malware, Bun says. Yeah, we're not too concerned about it right now. I know that a lot of people are hating on it. It's been super stable for us. So we're just going to continue to do that for the foreseeable future, just because it's working for us right now. Melanie clearly doesn't know that I'm streaming right now, so I'm just going to let her know, hey, listen, I'm streaming. And just called you out online. Oh, it's good. That's funny. It's all good. All right. I'm really relaxed tonight, guys. This is good. I like this. And I really appreciate you being here with me. This means a lot. How long do you think it will take you and Brandon to remember that Snow is blind? Found it funny when David and I know. David and Brandon forgot. I'm getting there. It's tough, right? Because so much of a character depends on perception checks and sight. So I just have to change up perception checks. When we decided to have him play that character, I said everything comes down to perception checks anyways. So whatever you're perceiving with, whatever senses you're using, it's all a perception check. If it's a bad perception check, it just means that you didn't perceive the way that you had hoped to. Yeah, it'll probably take some time. That is my answer. As a DM, how far will you let your players go with regards to stretching rules or performing incredible feats? Gary, it all depends on creativity. There are certain things that are just impossible that wouldn't make sense for me to allow them to do. But my job, what I want my job to be, and what I think my job is to allow these players to have the most incredible experience and create the most incredible narrative that they possibly can at this table. That is my number one concern. Bar none, in all, that is what I want to do. So whatever that takes is what will determine kind of what happens. But yeah, I'm very careful about, like, you guys have seen me kind of like Mel last time, for example. Isla wanted to gust wind and then throw a boomerang and hit multiple people, and that's just not within the rule set. So I will do whatever I can within the confines kind of the rules, stretching them a little, but not too much. Hey, Emperor. Hey, Sakura. Yeah, she's awesome. Melanie's quite great. And my little potion bottle, did it even go off? I thought I set it up to go off, and we just got a subscription from Amanda. Ah, man. I tested it before we started. It should have gone bleep, but it didn't. Did not light up. Boo. Boo. I'm going to go fix that. You guys asked me another question. There's all kinds of gifting tiers and subscribing happening. I'm going to try and see if I can work this out, because I don't understand why now all of a sudden it's not working. Okay, so it should be working now. I don't know why it's not. So you guys can give that a go and see if that works. Hilarious. Don't understand. Okay. Question. Did you have a failsafe to prevent a TPK? Not really. Sahuagin are powerful. They're nuts. And when they get blood frenzied, it's not good for the players. I didn't think they would do that badly against them, frankly. I think the problem that I realized just before we started the stream, thank you, Bruno, for scratching so loudly. He still has his cone on, guys, but it's coming off soon. Frankly, I think not having armor is something that I didn't quite account for as well as I should have. But I played it as the book plays it, more or less. And they have way more players, including Borth and stuff, than they typically would have in a party. So, yeah, it was scary. But it's good. It set the tone for the adventure. Let them know that they are, fallible. And that just because this isn't Barovia doesn't mean there isn't danger. So I kind of don't mind. Question. Oh, I have a hype train. I just got a hype train notice. What does that mean? Completing level 1 requires combined support events totaling 4. I have no idea what this means. Available rewards. I don't know what that means, folks. I just saw that we got a level 1 hype train. Question. Would you give a cursed item as loot? And can it happen next stream? That's from Ego Zelda. I got Zelda. Ego. That's weird. I got Zelda. That's funny. Yes, I have given a cursed item, as actually Brandon's character got a cursed axe, Vor, in our Sentinels of the Storm campaign. I absolutely give my cursed item, and I will if it calls for it. So I am not afraid. Next stream, probably not. That probably won't happen that soon. How does Snow's blind sight work, and how far out does it go? Blind sight works. That's from Dish Pickle, which is a hilarious name as always. Let me just see blind sight here. If I look up blind sight, it is, I believe, a playtest or a Unearthed Arcana feat currently. Not even sure it's in D&D Beyond yet. It's not blind sight, it's blind fighter, I believe. Let me just bring up his character sheet. And you folks, if you roll over the Twitch window, you'll get all of our characters off to the right, and then you can look at all the stats that exist for all of our players. Or all their characters, I should say. Let me just look up Snow here. There's a few things that he has. So, features and traits. So instead of dark vision, yeah, I don't think it's on here because he wasn't able to add it yet. Maybe in his notes. Blind fighting. Being able to see a creature doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack rolls against it, provided the creature isn't hidden from you. And so, yeah, so he's using the blind fighting feat with it, which I believe is like a playtest feat. And it basically just doesn't get disadvantage from combat. It's out to 40 feet. is what we, or 30 feet, sorry, is what we had said. 30 or 60, might be 60. That's definitely a question for Brandon next session in the break. For sure, I can't quite remember offhand. Thanks. Question. Thanks, Gary Diamonds. Redbeard, did I miss a question from you? Ignorant noob question. I love noobs, and it's not ignorant at all. In Curse of Strahd, can the party still visit the sobbing house in Barovia Village? Will they be over-leveled now, or do you level the combat based on the party level? So in my world, time means something. So if time passes and they miss an opportunity, they miss an opportunity. And I want to make sure, and that I think just helps people to feel like it's a living, breathing world that exists on their plane of existence. So that said, I think it's important that they understand the passage of time. And so if they go back, I don't know. I can't say. I won't spoil the future of a campaign, but there is a chance that it might not even be available now. And that happens a lot in my world where, if you get there too late, if you spend too much time doing one thing and not another, then it will just continue to, hopefully that answered your question. If someone is near snow, can he sense it using his whiskers? So Pete, that's a good question. So yes, so part of the role play for Snow is he has actually cut his hair into certain patches around his face, bare skin, longer areas, so that the movement of air allows him to kind of tell what is happening around him. So not just from his whiskers, but just from the air movement. And then of course smell and all of that kind of stuff also helps him to see. Not see. Sorry. Helps him to sense. Are you guys going to do more Wildemount when you are done with this? So yes, absolutely. We missed the train, apparently. The hype train is long gone. Better luck next time. I don't know what that means. So yes, absolutely. We will do Curse of Strahd, another season of Curse of Strahd until Halloween, and then we'll jump back on the Wildemount train probably for another season. And then we'll probably go back and forth in 12-episode arcs, much like a Netflix show or whatever the case may be. Oh, choo-choo. I see bits and subs move you up the track. I get it. Okay. Hype trains give bonuses for the stream and people participating, like emotes and stuff. Oh, cool. Okay, that's cool. What paint job are you most proud of? From Cower Duck. I've mentioned it before. I think the Beholder that we did, I did a 4-part series, and I just took a lot of time on it, as well as the Frost Giant that's modeled after Harshnag from Sentinels of the Storm. And that is one of the, we have both of those on our YouTube page. The Frost Giant is part of Nolzur's, and the Beholder is part of just our regular kind of pre-recorded sessions. Is there a reason Plunkrock is missing from the overlay? Are you trying to tell us something? Is he missing? Oh, he is too. I don't know why he's missing. Oh, Isla's only at 7 hit points. That's not good. That can't be good. I don't know why Plunkrock is missing, but I will add him right now. I believe I can do that. But if I leave this, you know what? I'm going to ask Joel to do it. I say Plunkrock is missing. Please add him. There we go. My son made me some tea, and he told me not to embarrass him by telling him that he's bringing tea, and I'm totally just going to embarrass him by son, you want to say hi? Hates it when I do that. I love you. I love you. Oh, see, my job as a father is to embarrass my children. I take great pride and joy in doing so. I think it's the one great gift as a father. Okay, hopefully Joel gets that and he can add himself to it. Okay. Is there a reason Plunk Rock is missing from... Oh, got that one already. I got the impression that David Roan was going to play this season. What happened? Dag, we just changed it up. We wanted to have different players just to give a bit of a different feel and give other people a chance to play. So that was why. And David Morin, who was a regular on all of our streams before that, and is also part owner of RealmSmith and a friend of ours, I also wanted to give him a chance. So he's going to play for Wildemount, and then Roan will come back for Curse of Strahd. Question, is there a way to apply to be a player on a future campaign? That's awesome. So the thing about that is that we play locally. We're all friends. And so the reason we're doing it remotely now is just out of necessity. It's because it's the only way that we can actually play right now. So as soon as we can get back around the table. But we have talked about ways to potentially either like through a contest or through bits to allow potentially people on stream to play with us for a short amount of time. That's kind of the ultimate interactivity opportunity, and there might be a chance. So stay tuned on that. And let me know if that's something you guys would want to do. Question, I still haven't seen the player characters yet. Are those available yet? Eastwood, I'm not sure what you mean. You haven't seen the player characters yet. Are those available? Just let me know what you mean by that, because I'm not sure. Question, the portrait in Death House was compelling. Was the mother looking disdainfully at the baby Walter because the father had brought him back from the dead? No. So I can spoil this. For those of you that are looking to play Curse of Strahd, cover your ears. She was looking disdainfully because the baby was actually the son of the nursemaid, which you would have found out if they had further investigated the bones that they found in the attic. So it wasn't her kid. Dun dun dun. How do you train kids to bring you tea? I don't know. I just have good kids. He's just a good, helpful boy. I just asked him. He likes to make stuff, so. Nice teapot. Thank you very much. It's a little green tea. Dragon pearls, to be exact. Actually, it's very good. All right. How about an RS mini painting competition? So between all the players, that'd be hilarious. That'd be awesome, actually. That'd be fun. Maybe we'll do that in the future. I wouldn't mind being a PC that dies in like a stream or two, like you did with Dave in Curse of Strahd. I will consider that, Pete. Again, look for an opportunity, because we've been talking about how we could possibly... I know that would be the ultimate. So, yeah, Sakura asked what kind of tea, and it is Dragon Pearls from David's Tea. Like a jasmine, I think. It's very good. Needed some tea today. I wasn't feeling super hot. It's not the virus. I just was kind of a little tired, and the stomach wasn't so great, so tea is helping. Oh, how do you see the character sheets? So if you just roll over the Twitch window that you see, you'll see the characters show up on the left, the D&D Beyond overlay. And Snow's there, and then you can also scroll to see the rest of the players too. Follow-up question. After the baby Walter question, so why was everyone in the house dead? So what I can tell you, I can't tell you too much, but what I can tell you is that they belong to a cult. And Strahd wasn't super happy with what was going on, and you knew that from the letter that they got. That's what I'll say. Yeah. I got Zelda says, do character profiles, etc. only show up on computer? Yeah, they might actually. I don't think they show up on mobile. I don't know. If you tap the screen, try it, maybe. I'm not sure if you get overlays on mobile. David has a tea shop. In Canada, there's a place called David's Tea. That's a little shop. Maybe that's not anywhere else in the world. But it's like a tea shop that you have in malls, and you can go through and pick teas. It's great. Oh, painting competition between the players and viewers. Mythroll sponsored. We want to win one of those sweet spinners. Okay, if you guys want to win more spinners, then I'll talk to Joel and Dave, and maybe we'll do that as a giveaway next session. The overlay works. Question: I was curious who drew the character profile pictures. Gary Diamonds, I did. That is me. I kind of started off as a graphic designer in the world. I worked in comics as a colorist for Ken Lashley, actually, who is a renowned Marvel and DC comic book artist here in Toronto. And so I apprenticed with him, and then I worked as a colorist. And those are me. I drew those character profile pictures, and hopefully that means that's good. Yeah, Farty McButterpants just confirmed that David's Tea is the name of a shop in Canada. Oh, I just wanted to say Farty McButterpants again. Dag Crystal J. Can I call you Crystal or Dag? Let me know. Who made the picture for your characters are so nice? Oh, and again, that was me. I drew them. I draw them. I draw them for all of our sessions. All our campaigns, I should say. All of the Curse of Strahd ones were me as well. Yeah, sorry. No mobile. Yeah, everyone's saying no mobile overlay, only on personal computer or laptop. But I will share a link out. So Plunk Rock is added now to those character sheets. So maybe there's a link. You know what? I'm going to call Joel right now. Watch this. Ready? Just because we can. Actually, I can probably do it. I could have done it, but this is fun anyways.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, I was just calling you on stream right now. Say hi to the internet.
Hey, the internet. How you doing?
I was actually calling you because I was wondering if there was a link that we can share for our campaign so that people can see it publicly.
Yes.
But then I realized, wait a second, I can probably just go on there and get it myself. But now that I'm on there, I'm not seeing it.
I'm going to post it into the
chat
stream.
Yeah, post it in the chat. Yeah.
That's the D&D Beyond link right there that I posted in the chat.
Okay, but it's not the campaign link for people to add characters, right?
No, it's just it should just be the public active characters inside the campaign. Like there's no content sharing. It's not for people to be able to add themselves, I don't think.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see which one you added.
Find out.
Yeah, that looks right. Let's see if it works. I'm gonna try and go to it.
So like if I sign
it went to
out,
Snow. Yeah, it went to Snow specifically.
That's weird.
Anyways, yeah, maybe take a look into it and see if it's possible. If not, we could just maybe post the links to the character sheets in descriptions for videos and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Then people can kind of, that'd be cool. Okay, thanks, dude.
I will do that.
Say bye, everyone.
Hi, bye. Have a good night.
Aw, Joel. What a good dude. It's my buddy. But yeah, we'll try and figure out so you guys can look at character sheets. But that is the one that he posted is Snow's character sheet. I have to go back up and look for questions. Let me see. Shadestar says, question, but more of a comment. I popped over to the D&D channel during a stream, and they were asking to be able to see the overlay as well. Not sure if that is something you can do, but wanted you to be aware. Yeah, that's only something we can do on our channel because we have to set it up as an overlay, and I don't know if they'll do that over there. So unfortunately, it's only available on our channel as far as I know. Because you have to actually change it per stream, and that's a lot of work to do. So, Awesome, awesome, awesome. Just going through. I love all the Falfer emotes. Maybe tonight I'll make some more emotes, guys. I think we've hit another level where we can make more. So if that's the case, maybe I'll make some more emotes for you all. Question, does Joel have these songs prepped, or is it off the cuff, or both? That's a question for him, I Got Zelda, but I think he preps some. I know he preps some, but some of them are totally. I think the Help one that he did was off the cuff, and any of the made-up ones he does is totally off the cuff, actually, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, so Kyburn said, here's Snows. Question, what's been your creepiest experience in a D&D game? I can't remember a very specific creepy experience, but I do remember being completely creeped out as a teenager playing Curse of Strahd when I was young. I'm trying to remember what. Oh, I played in a. It wasn't D&D, but I played an RPG game with DM Scotty was running it with some friends just at I think it was PAX. Origins maybe it was Origins 2 years ago. Either Origins or PAX. I'm not sure which one. It was Origins, and it was awesome. Yeah, it was Origins for sure. And it was called Survive the Night, and it was like like Saw basically, like a horror RPG. Totally creeped out. That was awesome. That is the most time. But in D&D, probably back when I played Curse of Strahd, or Ravenloft, what it was called back then. Emperor 10 Mil says, would love to hang out with these guys. We have a lot in common, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if we do. We would love to hang out with you, and at the next show that we can be at, maybe that'll happen. Oh, yeah. From there, if you click on the... Yeah, so if you follow that link and you click campaign at the top, you can go through and you can select different... That's right. That's right. Cool. Just going through all the chat, guys. This is awesome. Holy cow, viewers tonight. What kind of a character would you play? Would you ever consider switching out DM responsibilities in order to play? So Gary Diamonds, I actually play in our Order of Dragonsbane campaign. I think we did like 30 or 40 episodes. You can catch those on YouTube. Most of them. We're still moving a lot of them over. But I play Crichton, who's a gold dragonborn monk, who is awesome. And Brandon Perkins, who plays Snow, and who also plays Sterling, is the DM for that game. So yeah, absolutely, I switch it out, and I play at shows on live streams and stuff too. But I love playing as well. DMing is my thing for sure, but I do love playing. Did the players roll for their stats? Yes, they did. We do the typical roll 4 dice, eliminate the lowest, and that is your score. Do that 6 times, and then you assign them. I do allow them to reroll all the stats if they don't like their set. When you said you were calling him, I tried to get the question in before he hung up. Oh, sorry. I wasn't far down the chat enough to hear that. I think I would play a rogue next. I think a monk is great. It was fun, but I'd play a rogue. I played a ranger before. I played paladin. Played a fighter, or maybe even a bard. That'd be fun too. What's the weirdest thing to... This is from Captain Jander. Or Yander. What's the weirdest thing to happen to you in a game? My DM last week stopped the game to give us notice his baby was born. He wasn't allowed at the hospital due to the virus. Aw, poor guy. First of all, my heart breaks for him. Second, the weirdest thing to happen to you in a game. Oh, I'll tell you. Not the weirdest. Okay, so let's see. The most random thing that has ever happened to me as a DM If you guys were watching, that I can think of, it was fun actually. So Dave Morin, who plays Bacalhau, was playing a character for our first campaign called Oral, and he played a kind of a red shirt character who died in the first or second episode. No, yeah, first or second episode, and then he called me or texted me in the middle of our session one night, and you guys all saw it online. And he said, "Hey, what are you doing? Do you want to hang out?" I was like, "Dude, I'm having a stream." And he's like, "Oh man, I'm close to you. I was gonna stop by." I was like, "Dude, you should stop by and play Oral again," because I knew I was gonna bring him back as a Revenant, but I wasn't sure exactly when. So I said, "Why not tonight?" So he literally came here, had no idea what he was playing, sat down at the table. I gave him the Revenant card, and then we went from there. And as you guys have seen, all manner of craziness ensued after that. Thank you, son. This tea is great. You heard that. You can call me Dag. Okay, cool. Weird question. Do you think an Aarakocra would dye its feathers? Could dye its feathers? I don't see why not. I don't know if a bird can dye its feathers, but I would allow it. I think it'd be cool. That's a good idea. Oh, that'd be really cool. That just gave me ideas. I might steal that one, Dag. What will you be painting next on Nolzers? That's a great question, Vixen. I don't know. I know people have been asking for the Drider a lot. If there's any other suggestions out there, but I have to look. I want to maybe paint something for Wildemount. I'm not sure what though. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Oh dear. Question: been watching Order of Dragon's Bane. It's so weird that I yawn so much here, but I never yawn during our other sessions. It's strange. Maybe this is just so relaxing, or maybe I'm so tired from DMing the night before that maybe that's part of it. I've been watching Order of Dragon's Bane and can't find episode 14, 15. Where do I look? It's not on Facebook or YouTube that I can find. Oh, Emperor. I don't know why it's not on either of those platforms. It should be on Facebook. If it's not, that's a problem. Although I may have doubled up and accidentally made a mistake on that. Let me take a look at that, Emperor, and I'll let you know as soon as maybe next episode. So I'll check midweek and find out what the deal with that is. Actually, one sec. Maybe I can just give you that answer right now. And thank you, Emperor, for watching those old sessions. They're fun. You can see kind of the progression of our production abilities and play abilities and all that kind of stuff as we go through. I did have here we go. Yeah, I don't even have it in my list here. 13. Where's 14, 15? That's a great question. I don't even have it on my checklist. Maybe take a look, Emperor, and see if 13 and 17 actually, or 13 and 16 go into each other. That's really weird. I'm adding them now just to find out what's going on there, because that's a problem. And I may have them saved locally and we can upload them. So I'll take a look into that. We're planning to get them all up. I think on Thursdays we want to do like a throwback Thursday and air some of our old episodes for you guys, premiere them. And sometimes we'll be in chat and maybe sometimes we won't, but we'll be premiering those on Thursdays, hopefully soon. We'll start with Order of Dragon's Bane, I think. Okay, I'll look into that. Sorry about that. Any suggestions for flavor, mood, reading research to run a Strahd game? I've read the first book and on the second, bunch of nice things. Okay, so I read I Strahd. That was great, actually, because my brain went back to that a lot while running him and kind of the core. But basically, the Curse of Strahd book has everything that you need. I did watch a lot of YouTube videos, actually, about how to run certain characters. There's a good series where this guy, I can't remember what the channel is, but where they kind of give you ideas of how to run stuff a little bit different, and I did it, actually, quite a bit. got some good suggestions. So if you just Google or YouTube Curse of Strahd and ideas and stuff like that, you get a lot of great stuff there. And also like people breaking down the storyline into like simple terms and kind of like giving a timeline and stuff is really helpful as well. Just looking for other resources, yeah, for sure. There's quite a bit out there. Just go into YouTube and to Curse of Strahd, lots will come up. Dish Pickle says RealmSmith's older campaigns are great. They learned a lot, and the product value is now one of the best. Thank you, Dish Pickle. We didn't just appear here, that's for sure. We didn't just arrive. It's been a long work, and we still have a ways to go. Have you ever tried a vampire character? I think I played a guy who got turned into a vampire when I played Curse of Strahd when I was a teenager, but not since. If a player decides to roll the stats, do you have a minimum threshold for what they roll? Or were they stuck with a 3 if they rolled it all ones? If they were stuck with a 3, they'd probably re-roll the whole set again. That's what's happened before. But I think Falfer had a 7 or a 6. And it's just part of roleplay. I think that just adds a great aspect to that character that they kind of have to work through. Love that. It all adds to story. Question from Farty McButterpants, because I love that name. How long have you all been playing together? What gave you the idea to turn on the cameras? So I kind of came back to D&D because of Critical Role in a lot of ways. I started watching it, loving it, and then started playing again. I've been playing with these folks, I want to say 4 years, 3 or 4 years, I think. And then what happened was I had built kind of a tavern kind of setup in my garage, and I had thought about eventually starting to live stream. And I asked Joel, who was working where I was working I was working at a charity, and he was a consultant for them, a digital consultant. And so he was doing some work with the executive team. And so I met him. We'd known each other for many years. I said, dude, we're playing D&D. He says, I used to love D&D. I used to play with my brothers. I said, you should come check it out one night. And he came, and he's like, dude, this is unreal. Like, you need to record this and live stream it. And then I was like, yeah, man, I've been thinking about it kind of. Let's do it. And then that's where we started, which is crazy. Why don't you let Mel cut your hair? She did, actually. That's why my hair is nice now. As of last night, on the weekend, she cut it on Sunday. So that is why. On a regular basis, she lives about half an hour from me. And my hairdresser is like 10 minutes. So it's just easier for me to go there. And she doesn't love doing boys' hair, actually, or men's hair, I should say. I'm a man. She prefers to do women's hair, and so yeah, I just and because she lives in where she lives and I live in the town I live in, it just isn't as easy for me to go up there and get my hair cut. That's why. Just kind of happened. Paint a new Katoa. That would be something. I'll tell you that. I needed a reason for my character to leave. This is Dag. I needed a reason for my character to leave, so I decided she was born white, blessed by their goddess, but misunderstood and cast out. So now she colors her feathers to hide the white. I love that. That's very cool, Dag. Really love that. Oh, yes. Okay, so you found the episodes that are just very randomly placed. Okay, cool. Thank you. I know, it's just so bad. Facebook, anyways, it's a disaster. And the problem also is that we lost some of our local recordings. So the only ones that exist are on Facebook. So Julian actually went through and locally recorded all the missing videos, and I have them on a stick, and I just have to now splice the video over the audio, or the audio over the video, and then upload them to YouTube. So I'll be doing that in the future. Question: has RealmSmith experimented with any RPGs outside of D&D? Yes. So we ran, and it is on. I'm going to be uploading it on Friday, because I think on Saturday we might be playing another Cyberpunk game. No promises, but that is in talks right now. So we'll keep you posted on that. But we played Cyberpunk on the Friday, which didn't go very well because of technology. But but we played again on Monday and it was great. So it was a cyberpunk game run by the creator Mike Pondsmith with Lillard and Nora and all of those awesome folks. Luke Gygax was there. It was great. So if you guys want to check that out, definitely do that. That's currently on our Twitch channel, and it will be on our YouTube this coming weekend. So check that out. It was so much fun. And I played a different character too. Well, I played a character. I didn't DM it. My players recently killed a Tarask. What would you do with the parts? Suggestions, please. That is quite the question. Oh man, jeez, guys, that is crazy. I would create armor for my pet raptor. Or something like that. I don't know. What do you do with a Tarask? Build a base out of it. Maybe. That's cool, though. I love Tarasks. I'd love to bring a Tarask in. I'm just waiting for WizKids to create one. Do you think an enchanted tattoo can be made from Residuum? And what do you think the effect would be? I need to first need to know what Residuum is, because I don't know. Please let me know what that is, and then I'll tell you if I think a tattoo can be made from that. Tim says he has to go to bed at 9. Aw, D20 Tim. Did you ask a question? Did I miss your question, Tim? If I did, please place it again. Oh, yeah. Imbue the body and make a flying Tarask airship. There it is, folks. Airship made of Tarask hide. That's badass. I like that a lot. I'm drinking a lot of tea. This caffeine will get me through the rest of the evening. Good. All right. Residuum is the stone made to save the blooming grove. Oh. That's a great question. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe some people in the chat have an idea there. Yep. I don't know why subscriptions aren't working, guys. I have no clue. I'm sorry. I just saw another one come through. It didn't go off. I apologize to a D2 and D Rose. But thank you so much, guys. And you're on a 2-month streak. Thank you. Toby says, have you played a Marvel DC D&D before? And if so, would you play it again? I played the Heroes game. I forget what it's called. You guys will know. Something Heroes. Back when I was a teenager. It was fun, but not much. I played a lot of Top Secret, actually, when I was in my teens. I ran a ton of Top Secret for my friends. That was fun. Thank you for gifting all those subs, Gary. Appreciate that. That's amazing. Residuum is mined in whitestone. That makes sense. Is a green glass-like substance created out of refined whitestone? I imagine. If I know they're doing it a lot with the Mighty Nine, with magical tattoos and Jester and stuff. So maybe like Orly, I think is teaching her how to do tattoos and stuff. I haven't watched all of the campaign, but yeah, that's cool, and probably. It acts as any spell component of monetary value. Wow. Spell storing tattoo. That's a great idea. Very cool. It's used to enchant items and stands in for some spell components. Yeah. And not the DC Heroes one. It was something else. It was like a open kind of non-branded superhero RPG. Do you have a favorite D&D lore-based video game? Probably Baldur's Gate, I think. Back in the day. Probably my favorite. I worked in video games for like 15 years, and so I don't play a lot of video games anymore, actually. It's weird. I was a huge video game nerd, played for many, many years, and then when I was out of the industry, I think maybe just creating for so long, I needed a break from that, maybe. And that's when I got into D&D, actually, and Warhammer. Okay, couple more questions, couple more minutes. City of Heroes, that's the one. Thank you, VDA Monster. I'll take 2 more questions before the end here. I want to thank everybody for watching, though. It's been awesome. Right after this, my son is probably going to come down and we're going to reset up the map for further stuff on the table. So we're going to basically do a once-over on the table and just add whatever we need for upcoming session for next week. So we're excited about that. What's your advice for new players other than get the handbook? New players. So for new players, background is important. Understanding how your character plays in that world, and what their place is, and understanding what affects them and what educates their decisions is incredibly important, I think, for me. When I meet a new player, when I have a new player, like I did with Christine and Mel, I teach them the basics of combat and the combat economy and all that kind of stuff, like just like rounds and actions and all that stuff. And then I talk to them about their background. What is your character? What pushes them? What drives them? And that's what I get them to spend their time on. And then I'm like, everything else in game, you tell me what you want to do, I'll tell you what you want to roll. And so, yeah, that's incredibly important. I would say that would be the most. For DMs, I watched a lot of Critical Role and honestly got rules by osmosis. And so just watching and hearing checks over and over again, there isn't very often that somebody says, I want to do this, and I don't know what check immediately kind of that would apply to. The last question I saw was, what kind of Warhammer do you play? I play 40K and I play Age of Sigmar as well. Play both of those, and I have a lot of fun doing it. It's a great game. I don't know why my little potion bottle isn't working today, folks. I apologize. It really sucks. It was working when I tested it. You guys saw it when I tested it, but it's not. But thank you, Spork Saber, for subscribing via Twitch Prime. And if you haven't yet, consider making us your Twitch Prime subscription. Those subscriptions really help us to do what we do on a regular basis, on a monthly basis. It takes resources and funds to do what we do, and every little bit helps. So thank you so much, guys. Also follow, and you'll be notified when we go live. This Sunday, Noel's Marvelous Tutorials. I don't know what I'm going to be painting yet, but I will let you know soon. And then Monday for episode 3 of Wildemount. I can't believe we're 3 episodes in already. And it's going to be a blast, and craziness will ensue. And the great part is that even with those people who haven't run Curse of Straw, even for people who are running Wildemount, not necessarily as many spoilers, because I'm creating the adventure, the campaign that lives in that world. So it's not like a predetermined campaign like Curse of Strahd is, right? So I'm very excited. All right, guys, you guys have a wonderful night. I'm going to go rest my voice and my head and hang out with my kids for a bit before they go to bed. Just want to thank you all again for making us your preferred entertainment for the apocalypse tonight. It means a lot to me and everyone involved. It's a bit of a tough week for me, being a year to the day on tomorrow that Todd didn't show up for our stream and then found out that he had taken his life. So I can't say it enough this week, guys. If there's somebody out there that is hurting, if you know a friend who is lonely, don't hesitate. If you think that there's a problem, if you think that they're not okay, reach out, give them a hug, tell them you love them, play some D&D with them if you can, even if it's over Zoom, especially right now where people are feeling so stinking lonely. I went through a lot of time of the should have, could have, would have dones, and you can't blame yourself. But just love your loved ones even closer. Hold them tight, and when this whole thing is over, just give extra hugs and extra texts and extra calls. All right, y'all. Have a good one. You guys have a great night, and we will see you on Sunday. Take care. Oh, I should have had my little thing ready before I said take care, because I'm not. Here we go. Take care.